exploratory opportunity. I'm not quite sure what um, I want to know more about how they work with families and how I might be of service to them. And I'm open to ideas and suggestions that people have. I regularly do downsizing and moving presentations at senior living communities and senior centers. So I don't know if that's something that they'd be interested in. It's a big organization. They've got many cemeteries in town and in various areas around Seattle. So, so yeah, that's what I've got on for today.
All right. Well, good luck with that. And it could be, it could be a good one. I know when our funeral director, they tell us all the time that when families come from out of town, they start asking them like, "Hey, do you know X, Y, and Z?" So I could definitely see someone coming in and asking, "Hey, do you know someone that can help us sell mom and dad's home or help with the decluttering, the organizing, and the whole kit and caboodle."
Okay.
Perfect. Anyone else have a success story they want to share? So I'll go with mine. Of just this week alone, I've been referred to 6 different people. Some have come off of Facebook, some come off of Instagram, some come from my phone. But all of them are people that I have personally known in my life, so not complete strangers. One person I met, I mean, it was probably 5 years ago at a conference for assisted living, and she just referred me her cousin who's losing the home through foreclosure. So we're talking about having to get the house sold within the next 2 weeks. Uh, but I just really would want to say like visibility trumps ability, money follows attention, and I really do believe, and I always preach it, that it's our duty, it's our job to really make sure that everybody we know that's in our phone, everybody that we know that's really understand and really be aware of what we do, because what we do is so crucial and so critical right now. 40% of all real estate in the United States is owned by someone who's 65 years and older. 42% of buyers were 65 years and older. 62% of sellers were 65 years and older or inherited or probated homes. And I feel like the people who want to help them, the ones that have the heart, are the quietest about it.
Mhm.
And so I want everyone to like really just make it their mission that you got to at least every day, you got to post something on your social media. You got to have a video, tell the story, because people need help right now. And if you don't, the vultures are going to come out and take advantage of them. And I put that on everyone. Like if you're seeing in your area, like look in your area, look at how many houses are getting sold off market. Look how many are getting taken advantage of. And I really believe that's our responsibility. That's our fault, because if we're not doing a good job, they're fault. I just really want go ahead.
I had an interesting call yesterday from a lender that I do a lot of work with. And he fully understands, my focus on seniors. He was in a situation where somebody was asking for financing. They were purchasing a house from an 82-year-old woman. And as far as he could tell, the comps were somewhere around 450, and the person was buying the property for 310. And he asked me for advice on how to handle this situation. And I said, I would reach out to the listing agent. Well, of course, there is no listing agent. It's some investor, somebody, some company that went in. And he asked for my advice on how to handle that. And I just wasn't even sure what to tell him. I'm curious if you have any thoughts on how that should be handled.
Yeah, I mean, I would get the address, I would skip trace the owner, and I would call them and make
You would
sure
call
that,
them.
oh, 100%. I would call the
Yeah.
owner and say, hey, I'm with the company. I mean, our company is called Best Solutions for Owners, But I would just say I'm a local agent. I specialize helping seniors and their families downsize, relocate, and transition. You were basically, your name was brought up from a colleague of mine, and that he made us aware that you're selling your house way below market value, and we just want to make sure that you're not getting taken advantage of. And just ask, because I'll tell you, like, and I keep saying it over and over, 1.2 million homes last year were sold off market, not through an agent. And it's because these wholesalers, every agent thinks wholesalers are corrupt, evil, greedy, and take advantage of people. Every wholesaler thinks agents are corrupt, greedy, and take advantage of people. Both are true and both are lies. But the difference is wholesalers are not called efficient. We have a wholesaler that calls 1,500 people a day. So of course they're going to get a hold of more people and be able to talk to more people. And when that person, when this 80-year-old person doesn't know that there's other options, and someone calls and says, hey, I have an option. We can come by your house. There's going to be no commissions. We'll pay for closing costs. You don't have to repair anything. We'll make it easy for you. Why would they think that that's a bad idea? They think, oh, my house is distressed. I've lived there for 20 to 30 years, and yeah, it could be worth 450, but what if it needs a lot of work? What if 310 is a great option?
Right.
But it's our duty, it's our responsibility. If we're going to help this segment of people, it's our responsibility to get involved. It's our responsibility to at least understand what their situation was. I don't know if you guys, I've said it again, but I have a situation where Seller's Advantage, which is a big buying company out where I live, they got a hold of a client and said, hey, we'll buy your house for $500,000. We'll buy it all cash, no commissions. We'll pay for the closing costs. I went over there and I was like, I think I could sell this on the market for about $650 as is. And even after the closing costs and after all the commissions, she's going to probably make probably $70,000 more than what the other offer was. But the problem is he reached out to her. The only reason I got involved was because her grandson, who knows me, sees me on social media, sees me posting all the time that this is what I do to help people. He called up grandma and said, hey, grandma, before you make it that deal, please go talk to my friend. He'll at least tell you if it's a good deal or not. And that's where I got involved. But if I would have went to the house and I would have been like, yeah, I could probably sell it for 550, maybe 570. No, then it is a great deal for you to go take that all cash offer, no commissions, all closing costs are paid. Why wouldn't it be? So an agent isn't always the answer. And I need everyone to understand that an agent is you're not always the answer. You need to have these wholesalers in your back pocket. You need to have cash investors. You need to have fix and flippers. You need to have them because there are going to be times where the owner goes, no, I don't want people through my house. I don't want to have people going through. I don't want to have to clean it up. I want someone to come, give me a cash offer, and me walk away from it. Now, ultimately, they're always going to be paying the commissions. Whether they're paying them through the sales price or deducting it from the sales price, it's all the same thing. But I've hand-hold witnessed that a person sold me a house for at least $100,000 under what it was worth because they didn't want anybody else through their house. And their house wasn't even that bad. They did need to close in 10 days. They didn't want to have to worry about cleaning it out and moving things. I helped them move the things that they wanted, and I let them take care of everything else. And we bought it, no commissions and no closing costs. I did put it right back on the market after I cleaned it out, and I sold it for 1.25, $50,000 more than I thought. But I knew I wasn't taking advantage of them. I gave them the exact option. I gave them all their options. So, but it goes back to, we really need to do a better job. I urge you guys, please go on your Facebooks every single day. Let me go on and I visit your guys' Facebooks from time to time. I need to start seeing things, and we need to start seeing things that, hey, I help seniors and their families. Hey, do you know that there's different options than selling all cash? Be aware of the different scams that are going on. Someone's going to call you and say, oh, there's no way that you can sell your distressed property on the market. And there's also going to be agents that say, oh, no, the only way to sell a house is to list it on the market. Both are false, but they need to know that there's options, and they need to know that there's someone there to help them. Let them know that they can do a free walkthrough consultation for you. Let people know that you have the resources to help with the decluttering, the organizing, the packing, the moving. And if you don't have those resources, reach out on Facebook and say, hey, I'm looking for a declutter, an organizer, packer, a mover. I almost can guarantee you that people in your sphere have someone's come across this situation and is going to have someone to recommend you. Any thoughts, any words, any aha things or things we want to build on that? No one.
No, I agree 100%. I've had sellers that are in a totally distressed property and aren't in a position to list, and brought an investor in, and it was the absolute best thing for them. But they were very well educated and knew what all their different options were. Where, you get concerned in this situation, and like you said, we have no idea. Maybe it is so distressed that is the right price point. But one, I kind of saw it as a victory that he reached out to me, because now I am established as an expert in seniors. So I felt like that was a victory. And I did talk about calling them, and he felt uncomfortable sharing the information with me. So I need to figure out how to position that if this type of thing comes up again.
Yeah, and then maybe even telling them, say, hey, what if you just gave me the address and I just reached out to them and I didn't tell them how I got their information or who referred me or anything of that nature. And the sad part is probably promise them an all cash offer, and here they're trying to get financing for it. And if it could be financeable, if it could be financed, it could be sold on the market.
Yeah.
I mean, I've sold burnt down houses on the market. I've sold completely hoarded out houses with human feces inside every room and rats living inside the seller's bed. I've sold that on the market. So I don't believe there's such thing as a house that's too distressed for the market. But I also do understand that people's privacy is important. And some people are so embarrassed they don't want, people to be able to walk through and be like, oh, look how the seller's living. So having all your options is super, super crucial. And what I can, again, our best leads we can find are ones that call us, slide into our DMs, reach out to us. It happens 6 different times. And then I can tell you, like, I run Facebook ads, and people that have never met me ever, don't know any clue who I am, I find the pain point. So I know a lot of people's pain points. They want to sell their house and not pay property gain or not pay capital gain taxes. That is what my ad does. I just got one guy who has $5 million worth of property. He's got $3 million of gains. It's probably going to be about $1 million, $1.5 million of taxes that are due. He's telling me about how his wife cheated on him, how his kids don't want the property, like all kinds of private information. And a guy that I just met, and here it is, he's going to entrust me to sell his properties, and they're nowhere near me whatsoever. They're in a completely different state. But he's done. And so, he's like, well, should I sell it all cash? I was like, no, you should put it on the market. If we're trying to get the most for it, let's put it on the market. Now, there might be things that we have to do to prepare the home, like clean it out if it's cluttered. But I mean, 2 of them are beautiful properties right on the beach in Florida. So, I mean, I'm not too worried about those ones. But again, we like as a group, and I call it an army, as an army of people that want to be service-based and help the movement. The only way that we're going to do that is either one, hire a bunch of callers to start calling senior homeowners. But the better way is that we have to understand that we don't need to call complete strangers, but every single one of us has 200 to 300 people on our phone minimum. But I guarantee most of us have not called them. We need to call them, because each one of those people has a mom and her dad or a grandma or a grandpa, or maybe 2 or 3 sets of each. It's our responsibility. It's our duty. It's our this is what we need to do. Because if we don't, it's just gonna. It's literally there. It's going to pass us right by, and people are going to be taken advantage of left and right. And sadly, the people who are going to take advantage of the most right now are seniors. It was something like I saw someone posted. It was like $34 billion from frauds and scams of seniors.
Oh.
It's absurd. It's insane. And that probably doesn't even count all the homes that are being bought way below the market value. I mean, again, I have wholesalers. I mean, They came onto my team bragging, "Oh, I made $100,000 wholesale fee." I'm like, dude, you took advantage of the seller and you took advantage of the buyer. How are you bragging about that? The good ones
That
stay with them. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, Cory, that literally just happened with the phone call that I got the other day with the senior lady. She's selling 2 properties in Kansas, and a wholesaler is really pushing her to sell both of her parcels for $100 total. I mean, $100,000 total. And she called me and all the way from Kansas and trying to figure out what to do because she's so scared. So I mean, I'm in contact with her, but just to relate, I relate to what you're saying. That I literally just got that phone call the other day.
100%. And it's happened all across the country, guys. It's happening in your town. Like when we think that there's not a lot of inventory, or maybe you're in a spot where there is inventory. First of all, you can go on the MLS and see how many homes sold. There's probably thousands that have sold in your market. So it's not that we have a lack of inventory problem. We got to find out why you're not getting them. That might be a little different story. But then even if you see all those properties, if you go to the tax assessor and see how many are sold, you're going to see that probably a quarter more are sold off market that you never even got to see. And it's not the homeowner's fault. It's not the buyer's fault. It's not even the wholesaler's fault. It's our fault. We're not getting visible. The only visibility that people are seeing right now is social media is saying how bad agents are. Media is saying how bad agents are. There's all this commotion going on about clear cooperation and blah, 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 blah. And agents are getting froze instead of just going back to the old mentality of doing real estate, which is relationship based. The people that I know aren't going to get to my people are the ones that I reach out to every month. It's very hard pressed for someone to get into my top 336 people. And those 336 people result in the 60 to 80 deals every single year. And then they refer, and the circle just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Any thoughts or, and if you're like, again, anytime you see any of the people from the pack, Gretchen, Felicia, Paul, myself, you guys see us post something, steal it, post it as well. You should always have like an educational post or a reel going on. Educate people. We're more educated and you're more educated being in this group, being an agent than most people are. Don't make the post about buying, selling, investing. Make the post about education. Educate them the importance of wills and trusts. Educate them the importance of having a plan. Educate them how to downsize and declutter and organize. If you guys like Cindy, you do downsizing seminars, Lydia as well. If you guys doing downsizing, record it, and then make a little reel and show it. Do a faceless one where you take a picture and just do a carousel of 5 different steps to downsize, sort, sell, offer up, retain, donate, and have someone do the final clean out. Any questions, any topics that we want to go over, any scenarios that you guys want to go over?
I'm responding to your advice to provide information and educate, which is what I've been doing on my social media. I got feedback from somebody that our office works with that kind of reviews social media. And one of the things that they said is that I should try and get more into the emotion of it. Because like my target is Lisa, the 50-year-old whose parents are moving. Rather than telling her what to do or providing information, also delve into the emotion of it. Like, yeah, I know this really sucks. I'm here for you. Here's how you deal with the emotions and the stress. So I thought that was interesting feedback because I look back and all of it is very educational. I need to get my heart and my personality out there and also tell my followers that I understand how stressed out they are.
100%. So educational and then storytelling. Tell a story. And again, if you guys don't have your own personal stories or your own client stories, take them from others. I mean, I know we say enough stories. Tell the story like it's your own. Hey, there was a client of ours, You know, they had a house. It was aggressively collected. I mean, there was, you know, some kind of embarrassing moments in there, and they didn't know that they had options, and the family didn't know what to do. They had a hard time trying to convince mom and dad to move out. So what we did is we had a strategy session. We sat down with them. We sat down with the family. We went over all their options, and now, you know, she's moved out. We got her into a safe home, and now we can deal with the cleaning out of the home and get it ready for the market. But 100%. I mean, people, you know, they say they don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Tell the story. Be vulnerable. You know, tell your own story. Why you got involved helping seniors. Most people that are helping seniors, what I've realized is they had something happen in their own life, and they said, you know what, this is why I knew I needed to do this. Or they started working with the clients and started realizing the ones that were the most fulfilling, the ones that meant the most to them, the ones that needed the help the most was this segment of the population. So tell the stories. 100%. Be relatable. You don't need to have you know, polished videos. Just be you. If I went on to Cindy's, you know, social media and I started doing my own videos, I'm going to respond to some people, but other people are going to be like, no, I want to, and same with Cindy. If Cindy came on mine, some people are going to respond to Cindy and be like, you know what? I like her. I resonate with her. And so we have to realize that when we're out there on social media, we're not trying to have everybody like us and everybody use us. We're trying to find our tribe. We're trying to find the ones that fit with our vibe and need our help. And what I can tell you is like if I could scream it, if I could cry, like from getting more and more involved, helping people across the country, training people, mentoring people, what I can tell you is that there are so many people getting taken advantage of right now. And I really believe that it's almost even my fault, because if I'm not pushing you guys to go push yourselves to go get out there, then I'm not touching your people. We're you know, I'm only as good as my fingertips, and if I'm not expanding my fingertips to your fingertips, then what are we doing here? I don't want to limit how many people we can help. So I mean, that would be like my thing, that to leave today. And I know people might, you know, be offended by it, but it's like, let's freaking go. Like it's go time. We are in the midst of the silver tsunami, and all of our businesses should be flourishing right now, just based on pure statistics and pure data. So it's not, I really believe it's because we're not getting the attention and we're not being visible like we should. And if the people are in your phone, they're probably in your phone because you care about them, or you have cared about them, or they've cared about you. Well, then it's our responsibility to get in front of them. So if you don't want to call them, then download it to your phone, or download it to a CSV file, upload it to Facebook, and then put an ad out. It's you know, maybe a less invasive way than doing the phone calls. If you don't have tons of business, then you should spend time just like make 3 to 5 conversations every single day with people in your phone. And I guarantee in 12 to 18 months, your business will be a completely different business. Hey, we help seniors and their families. We help with the whole entire process. I have a whole vetted resource that can help you guys with anything. So even if there's not a house to be sold, please call me. If you need in-home care, if you need a reverse mortgage, if you need to declutter and organizer, if you need a private fiduciary, you need a trust attorney, a tax attorney, a financial planner, whatever you need, please call me. This is what we do. We help seniors and their families. So please let me know how I can help. And I can tell you, like, that's really what it comes down to. Any last thoughts? Any last questions, scenarios? Anyone? All right. Because what I'm going to tell you is the way to thrive in 2025 is to focus on seniors and their families, to get as in front of as many people as you possibly can. Social media, I think, is the cheapest way to do it and the easiest way to do it. But I would pick 100 people out of your phone that you're going to just be super diligent about educating, telling the stories, letting them know that they have resources, they have options, because a lot of people just don't know. When people inherit homes, they think there is no other option. And people need to understand, like probate, when you inherit a home through a probate, the government comes, gets their money, the creditors come get their money, and then the family has to afford the house during the time. So they have to afford the taxes, they have to afford the insurance. If there's a mortgage, they have to afford their mortgage. Make it through probate. Sometimes it could take 2 to 3 years in California. And if they don't, guess what? They lose the house. Like nothing's worse to me than figuring that someone bought a home, they lived in it for 30 to 40 years. This is their only nest egg. This is their legacy. And literally it's going to get squandered away in probate because someone didn't reach out to them and say, look, I know you don't have a lot of wealth, but you should just go get a simple trust and put the house into a trust. It's going to cost you $2,500, but yet it's going to save you 30, 40, 100, maybe even the house itself. And who's going to be responsible and help that? Usually the adult children. We call her daughter Judy. Who did you call her, Cindy?
Lisa.
Lisa. Okay. I
Yeah,
like
her
Lisa.
mom's Linda.
Daughter Lisa, mom Linda. I don't know why, but mine's always Judy and Grandma Gilda as the ones that we call. Because that was one of my stories that started with is I had a neighbor. We called her Grandma. Her name was Gilda, but we called her Grandma Gilda. Her kids lived over 400 miles away. She had a big, huge 2-story home. I mean, she had the same model that my, we had 5 kids at the time. And she had the same model as we did. It was a huge house. And she couldn't even go upstairs anymore. And she kept on telling me, where would I go? Where would I go? And I was just getting into real estate. So I was like, I don't know. Where would you go? I have no idea. Well, lo and behold, she fell. She went to the hospital and she died 3 weeks later after trying to find, or 3 months later after trying to find different assisted living homes to go into, and kept moving from one to one to one. It was too stressful. So it's our responsibility. That's all I can tell you. So maybe if, an affirmation, it's my responsibility to be visible, to get attention, and to help others know their resources, and just make it your daily mission. Just get visible, get attention, educate others, and to really make sure people knew that you were here to help them. All right. Well, I'm off driving 3 hours this morning to get to a house where it was the exact same situation. Husband or dad lived there by himself. He was hoarded out. Family kind of moved away from him. And it's taken us a month and a half for the family to go through there. Dad's still alive, so Dad's been pretty slow about letting them get rid of stuff. I'm finally going down to take pictures and videos. We're going to get the house on the market so he can sell it. So he could then, he's renting a room right now because he has no money. And we're going to actually, sell the house so that he can go get the care he needs. And so, and his ex-wife she is a senior placement agent, and she was a director at a community. And that's how we actually met each other. But it just goes to show you that even when it's your own family and your own friends, sometimes it's the hardest conversations to have. I talked to another family they said they're never going to leave. Mom's never going to leave. Dad's never going to leave. I talked to them about 3 months ago, couldn't convince them to move to a senior living community because they didn't want to have to check out. Because out here, if someone wants to leave to go to the store, they have to check out of the community so the store knows where they're at, just for safety reasons. They didn't like that. Well, now Dad's in a skilled nursing facility because he didn't get the care he needs, and is probably going to shorten his life immensely. And now Mom's going to be living by herself, and it's just not right. And they have a $1.1 million. So, all right. Geraldine, can you mute yourself? Geraldine. Geraldine,
no, I'm supposed to be on mute. I don't know.
There we go. All right. All righty. Well, if no one's got anything else, let me know. I'm always here to help. If you guys ever have scenarios that you want to go over, or I'm always here to help. Let me know. All right. So I will see you guys next week, and we'll go from there. Bye.